thinks it is. I'm sure everybody thinks it's glamorous, right? Everybody does. But they talk about how their job is to find major bugs, and they dock the smaller bugs, and they get to them if they can. But the game may release often with those poor bugs on there, because they say they'll just update them after release. That probably didn't happen back when 64 and PlayStation 1 and 2 were out, because you didn't have the ability to update afterwards. You've got to be perfect.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And so maybe if people just took their time and pretended, hey, on release date, we want it done and never have to touch it unless you want DLCs, maybe we'd have better quality games. And I think that's just kind of an interesting thing to bring up.
Yeah, Miyamoto even had that quote too, like a delayed game is eventually good, but a bad game's bad forever. So I feel like Nintendo actually does a pretty good job with making sure when it's released, it's playable. And
it says the company that made Zelda with poor frame rate.
But they fixed it.
Well, I mean,
they fixed it.
What was the response time to fixing it?
It was fixed like
within a month,
2-3 weeks.
Yeah,
after it was
within
released.
a month it was fixed.
It's not bad.
I haven't noticed one frame rate drop in that game.
And really, frame rate is not a bug crashing game. It's not like you can, it ruins the gameplay. It's literally a frame rate drop. It does stink because you want a beautiful game, but the gameplay is still the same. Like it doesn't. You don't have a glitch where you walk inside of a wall and you're stuck there.
Yeah.
Very, very different aspect. But you're right. He is 100% right with that quote.
Okay. Moving on, guys. Quick break. If you didn't know, this is the Hold On to Your Butts podcast. Comes at you each and every week. You can reach out to the crew here by emailing us at geeks. Every time I do this, geeks at hotyb.co. If you have a question for the guys here that we can read on the air, if you have a suggestion for our scenarios or our game round at the end of the podcast, or if you just want to reach out, tell us what a great job we're doing, we'd appreciate it. Again, that's geeks, Geeks, at hotyb.co, and you will be eligible to receive a free video game. That's right, a free video game to the second person all time to email us. So that's
actually gotten one.
Yep.
We've gotten one.
If you reach out to us, we will give you a digital download code of your very own for a random game that we will reach out into the internet, pull out, and give to you free of charge. Again, thank you for listening to Hold On to Your Butts podcast. Moving on, guys. I have some other news. Wyatt, have you seen the Star Trek Discovery trailer?
I have not. I did follow up on all the Star Trek stuff, and then they kept delaying the release, which was fine by me because I was like, hey, make sure it's perfect when it comes out.
Yeah.
So they kept pushing it back, but this is the first I'm hearing that there was a trailer.
So I'm going to queue it up. We're going to watch it here live. For our listeners at home, feel free to go to YouTube and check this out and watch it alongside us. I think I might even have it queued up. I do.
I mean, I'm excited about it. I really am. Okay. I'm a little annoyed that it's on like this ABC. What is it?
All
it's
Access.
Like APC All Access.
CBS All Access.
Hypothetically, though, if it's successful, I think they were supposed to make it kind of a thing, but...
All right, so you guys will be able to hear some of the audio here as we watch this, but make sure to watch this. If you want to pause the show right now, go ahead, pause the show, watch the trailer, come back, and we'll give our reactions, but we're going to watch it real time here. This is the Star Trek Discovery trailer. Here we go. Years before Kirk.
Captain, where are we going? We have no map.
So it's between Enterprise and Star Trek.
It's hard to imagine. You've served under me for 7 years.
That's not that long before.
No, so Star Trek Enterprise was 200 years before.
You having your own command. Due to transport.
For someone who's currently watching Star Trek Deep Space Nine, this production value is a lot better.
Very much so.
For a TV show, too, this looks pretty good.
It looks legit for a TV show.
They look way... So, yeah, look at those suits are between...
Such leaders will need a profound cause.
Isn't that the dude from the movie?
I think that's supposed to be Spock's father.
What am I looking at?
Shit, what's his name?
Object of unknown origin.
We've come all this way, Captain. It would be
Shit, the production value for it is crazy.
Another female captain, I like it. Yeah, that's Spock's captain.
Computer. Enable igniter.
That's very...
This looks like a movie.
Yeah. Are those Romulans? Or those are Klingons?
Contact Starfleet Command. We have engaged the Klingons. once.
Oh, Picard comment there. We have engaged the board.
You will never learn, Vulcan. Your tongue is too human.
Was that Baby Spock? Was that Baby Spock?
That could have been.
That was Baby Spock.
I'm trying to save all of you.
Oh, it's totally Baby Spock.
Turn its neck, cut off its head. Starfleet
Oh, what's that girl
doesn't
from?
We have to.
What's her? What's she from?
My people were biologically determined for one purpose alone: to sense the coming of death.
What?
That's your whole purpose in life.
God, that's the most depressing purpose.
Their race is like the buzzkills.
What's your purpose in life? Oh, just to know when you're about to die.
I'm just excited. I think it's gonna be good.
That looks fantastic.
It's more like the movies.
Do you think it's directly related? To me, it looks like it's directly related.
Well, it's before the timeline switch, so it's got to be canon to the movies, to both genres, because it's before
smart.
the split of the timeline.
Smart.
Because it's 10 years before Kirk.
Yep.
So this is the original timeline. So
It's really, in a sense, continuing the continuity of the shows.
yes, of the shows and technically the movie, because that's a split in the
The
timeline.
new movies, right?
But yeah, both.
Okay.
Because
Makes me want to go actually go watch the newer movies, and then when this comes out, start watching.
so I guess with this show, the timeline would be Star Trek Enterprise, which is the with Captain Archer. That is 200 years before Kirk. That's right after they get warp drive. 80 years after they get warp drive. So then it would be Star Trek Discovery, then Kirk, and then there's the timeline split with the movies and then the TV shows from there. So I'm just excited. It looks good. Yeah, that really looks good, and I'm just excited it's back. I hope it's successful. I hope people give it a chance.
Here is this is what I would conjecture. You and your brother are the biggest Star Trek fans that I know personally. Now, looking at
That
this,
I know too.
looking at this, I am maybe, if I were a Star Trek super nerd, which I am not, but would I be in the right to be maybe a little bit worried that the production value is too good? Like the movie's production value is too good? Like, are they going to get lost in the pretty pictures? Are they still going to have like those really personal stories that the lower production value older shows had? You know what I mean?
Well, it's good. It's a different type of show because, but Star Trek in general is a different type of show. Back in the day, in the 60s and the 80s and 90s, it was episodic type of TV. All of TV was like that. It was every episode was a different story, and then you could miss that episode and go to the next one, and you wouldn't have really missed an ongoing story very much.
Yeah.
Nowadays, like you can't if you miss an episode of Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul, you're lost. You're
screwed.
You can't. You have to watch that episode in order to understand what's going on. And so I'm assuming Star Trek Discovery is going to continue with that kind of TV quality where
Story arc.
It's one overarching story arc. But I hope it doesn't lose that character development, like which like Deep Space Nine was amazing.
I just gotta tell you how much I'm enjoying that show. I haven't checked in with you in a while. I am on season 2, like
season
halfway
2?
through season
That's like
2.
30 episodes.
It's-
That's like 40 episodes.
It is literally awesome. I watch it, so it's now part of my nightly ritual. Like I watch it
Before
going
you
to
go to
bed.
bed.
I know that sounds like bad for the show. It's like it puts me to sleep, but in a great way. Like it's like
so
reading a
good.
good book every
Yeah.
night. Honestly,
Yeah.
like
It's
every
just
episode is solid.
so
Cisco
good.
is a great captain.
I just can't wait till you get and see the episode Upon a Pale Moonlight is just hands down one of the top
How far
5.
into the series is that?
You got
4
ways
seasons
to
or
go.
So, like, even the characters that I initially thought were annoying, I'm, like, really liking. Like, I like Quark. I like Odo. I really, like, have a huge crush on Major Kira. Man, Major Kira
Major
is
Kira?
just... Yeah, oh, God, I have such a huge crush on her, yeah. Dax is pretty hot, too, but
Dax?
it's kind of a dude. You know what I mean?
But it's kind of a dude.
Yeah, it's, like, a lot of inside
Yeah, that's a
baseball.
total- yeah.
It's a lot of
I don't
inside
know,
baseball
Dax
going on
is
right
type-
now.
Yeah, basically, I was like, what is going on?
Dax is a male, but
He's been a female,
Jadzia
yes.
is a female, and
Yep.
it's a symbiote.
Oh, yeah, I remember we talked about this
Yeah,
last time.
so
Okay.
Dax
Curzon
is a
Dax
symbiote.
was a male. and
Okay.
then-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a little strange there, but it's still
dude.
hot.
Jeez, dude. We're all dudes. Hey.
Oh my god, amazing. Good burger. Thank you. Cool. So
I'm
anyways,
excited to see.
yeah,
it.
I'm really excited to watch
The
it.
one
Lev,
thing-
as somebody who's not like a huge Star Trek fan, how do you feel
After
about that show?
after seeing that, and then seeing bits and pieces, and maybe I believe one newer movie. You know, it like after seeing that makes me want to be like, oh, I really want to jump into the story that has previously came out, and then so I'm ready to go for this. You know, and
Yeah,
then,
the other thing to think about is, and I bet you, I mean, it would be suicide if they did, because What I think they'll do is, so this is 10 years before the original series, which was made in the 60s, and it's really hard to go back. I'll admit it. It's very hard to go back and watch that. There's 77 episodes.
Because it's like episodic, right?
Yeah, and it's back. It was made in the 60s, so it's really hard to go back. So I doubt they're going to be like, well, it's 10 years before, so if you want to understand Star Trek Discovery, you'd have to watch Star Trek, the original series. No one would do that.
Can you give us a quick, just like a timeline of when each show takes place, like from the beginning to now, knowing this new information?
So what do you mean, like
where does Deep Space Nine give us a start to finish timeline of the Star Trek?
Star Trek Enterprise with Captain Archer was in the year 2200, which was 80 years.
That's Scott Bakula.
What?
Scott Bakula? That's not his name. What's his name?
I don't
Scott
know.
Bakula, right? Is the
maybe
captain?
I don't
Okay.
really know.
Anyways, so Enterprise
actor.
is the first one.
Yeah, that's the first one technically from a timeline, and that one was 80 years after Zephyrin Cochrane flew the first warp flight, and so they were doing.
All right, keep it a little bit more high level.
Okay. Okay, then the original. So then Star Trek Discovery.
We lost 5 viewers. They just lost 8.
5 years right there.
Okay, so then Star Trek Discovery.
We don't have any more to give, Captain.
And then the original series. Then 200 years after the original series is Picard.
Okay.
And at the exact same time Picard's going on, Deep Space Nine and Voyager is all happening at the exact same time.
So there's probably just a shit ton of crossovers between those three, right?
Very much so.
Okay.
Now, not so
There's
much.
3 Star Trek shows on TV at the same time at one point?
Sort of. There was Star Trek with Jean-Luc Picard. That was going on in late 80s, early 90s. Then Deep Space Nine kind of overlapped that. But then Generations ended, and it was just Deep Space Nine. And as Deep Space Nine was ending, Voyager was starting, so those overlapped as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So-
Awesome. Guys, another little bit of news here. I read a story, and I'm just going to read it to you exactly as it is here. This is a real thing. A man sues his date for texting during Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
No
A
way.
man
Worth it.
sues his date. I'm so happy
I
about
honestly,
this.
I think about suing my girlfriend every time she texts during any of the movies we watch.
Oh my god.
You
Well,
just hate texting.
It's the
though.
sisters.
I do hate
It's the
texting.
sisters. They're terrible at it. All right. Okay. The plaintiff, Brandon Vesmar, is suing for the price he paid to a 3D screening of his film,
No way!
which is exactly $17.31.
Holy shit! Has she seen an IMAX?
Vesmer claims
I saw it on IMAX 3D.
Vesmer claims that 15 minutes into the movie, his date, who remains anonymous, started texting and ignored Vesmer's request to turn off the phone after using it 10 to 20 times. And then here's a quote. While damages sought are modest, the principle is important.
Yes.
As defendant's behavior is a threat to civilized society.
I love this woman.
Reads
Give me your name.
Vesmer's- no, this is a dude that's suing the girl.
Oh,
Vesmer's petition...
You had the hots for the dude.
reads, Vesmer's petition filed in a small claims court. Vesmer's date said she was asked to pay him back for the ticket, but refused to do so because he took me out on a date.
honestly, he's totally right though. It is the principle of the thing. Put your motherfucking phone
gets-
away
this
and
gets
watch
even
the
better.
damn movie.
After learning about the claim, the Alamo Draft House, which is a theater chain, CEO Tim League has offered Vesmer a $17.31 gift card to settle the lawsuit. In an email sent, League said he agrees that the date's excessive texting during the screening is a threat to civilized society. The CEO of this theater chain said he agrees, but also concerned about our courts being clogged with superfluous lawsuits. Oh, get out of it, CEO guy.
What are you talking about? It's a great.
I say take him to court. All the way to the
Take
Supreme
him
Court.
all the way to the Supreme Court. There needs to be laws.
How do you guys feel? Like, what's your worst story being in a theater and having to deal with someone else, or what's your biggest horror story of going to the movie theater?
I can tell you about this one with going to see this movie. We went to Easton. We went to, and I bought
Local mall here.
local mall here in Columbus. Yeah, so basically I bought pre-tickets on Fandango. If you want to sponsor us, you can. But shout out to Fandango. So I bought tickets on there, and we went in the theater, and there was no lights on at all. There was no previews running. The screen wasn't on. It was pitch black, but there's people in there, and so you had to use your cell phone's flashlight to find a seat. And so there's as you're sitting there in your seat, there's 15 people coming in with the flashlights, and it's just bombarding you, and it's what is going on? When is this movie starting? And the movie was literally 45 minutes past the time it's supposed to
It's
start.
makeout sesh time.
It's
That's
makeout
sesh
time
right there.
I know, but
Yeah.
it's like, man, I paid to see IMAX in 3D. I paid a shitload of money, and what is going on right now? When is this movie